ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. Okay, I'm Stephen Zhang, the Senior Director of the R&D team for HPC and AI solutions from the QCT. Okay, in 2 days ago, the Gartner published the top 10 strategic technology for 2019 report. Okay, there are the 3 AI-related technologies listed in it. It means that the AI is going to impact and transform the industries. Okay, we are glad to invite 2 important guests from the different industries to the AI Fireside chair to share their insights and experience in AI. Welcome the girl, the head of the hardware from Uber, and Nitin, the head of the infrastructure from Cloudflare. Okay, thank you. Korea as well.
Oh, I have to sit here.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Before start our chat, Gloria and Nitin, could you briefly talk about your company and yourself? Yep.
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Gloria Lau. I'm very excited to be here to share our AI experience at Uber, and thank you for the Quanta team for inviting me. You know, at Uber, as you know, we're doing self-driving cars, flying cars. So AI is deeply integrated into our products. And so, you know, our company is about to have one of the largest IPOs in history, and so we're very excited. That will be next year. And so we have served over 4 billion trips in 2017. So the magnitude of how we're changing the lives of so many people is just huge. So I'm excited to be a part of that.
Okay,
and I'm head of hardware at Uber, and what that means is I manage all the hardware development and the data center management of our fleet. So that's actually a lot of work to keep everything going. So I'm lucky I have a great team to support us in this effort, and you know, happy to be here.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Nitin Rao. I lead the infrastructure team at Cloudflare. Cloudflare sits in front of about 10% of the internet's web requests and makes sure that for 10 million internet-facing applications, websites, mobile apps, APIs, and the like, the internet feels safe and fast. Now the puck for what safe and fast means keeps moving up, but we welcome the challenge. And as part of that, manage the various components of building a network, bandwidth, colo, hardware, working with smart hands, et cetera.
Okay, thanks, Nitin. Okay, as we know, artificial intelligence has certainly become the powerful force that's driving innovation across all sectors. Okay, with the vast opportunity across all sectors, it should be no surprise that AI become the world's the most disruptive technology. Okay. Uber has the mission to ignite opportunity by setting the world in motion, right? Good things happen when people can move, whether across a town or toward their dreams. Okay. Why AI will be so disruptive in your industry, and what you can do about artificial intelligence disruptions?
Yeah, I think Uber is on the bleeding edge of the AI disruption. We pervasively use it in our self-driving car technology and fraud detection and other areas. And we see it rapidly growing in all the other areas. So, you know, everyone's hopping on board to get AI into their part of their application under Uber. So our strategy has to be to invest in the AI research as well as develop a full hardware portfolio and a full hardware stack to support the AI development.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Cloudflare has the ambitious goal to help the build a better internet. Okay, you believe that with your talented team and the smart technology and engage the users, you could solve some of the biggest problems on the internet. Okay, what are your opinions about disruptions by AI and how to confront those challenges? Yeah.
Yeah. So as a cybersecurity company, at some level, you can think of Cloudflare as a big neighborhood watch. We see signs of something bad happening to one internet-facing application, and we learn from that, and we protect 10 million other internet-facing applications. Some of that is done through AI, some of that is not done through AI, but we certainly benefit from sort of seeing from pattern matching in one form or the other. Whether you see bots or DDoS attacks or other good and bad actors on the internet, I think we're better off together, and some of that manifests like AI is a phrase I have a hard time defining sometimes, but we certainly use the underlying tenets of learning from what we see and getting smarter with every one of the trillions of transactions we see.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there's a lot of the conversation happening around the AI and machine learning and using the algorithm for shape the future of the customer behavior and the role of the service providers. Okay, how is that changing the customer experience in a near future?
Sure. Well, it's hard to go before flying cars because that's way cooler. But nevertheless, saving the internet. Yeah, I think there's I think there's an opportunity to use AI for good in ways that are accessible, whether you're grandma's blog or you're a Fortune 500 company. And so there's an opportunity for us to really democratize AI. I think there are more tactical ways in which it can help customer experiences. So there are a lot of opportunities around personalization that become richer as you move code to the edge of the network. And we can make those tools available to every internet-facing application. And as one of them learns, hopefully they share it with others.
Okay, thank you. Gloria, okay, can you tell us some of the use cases cases of the AI to deliver better customer experience in your business?
Sure. At Uber, what we use AI for include, for example, fraud detection. We look for patterns where there's fraudulent activity going on. We also look at, for example, when we're on Uber Eats and you're trying to pick which restaurant, they look at your history of what you've picked before, and so they help with search ranking, restaurant suggestions, and food suggestions. And then we have, like Nitin said, we have flying cars. So for flying cars, that's a lot of deep learning that we have to embed in that technology, as well as autonomous driving. We use deep learning for that. So it's really ingrained in our company's customer experience.
Okay, that's great. Okay. I'm an engineer, right? So in the technical point of view, the GPU is designed for general purpose usage and has a great application of ability and flexibility, but it's not cost effective for some specific workloads. Okay. In contrast, the GPU has outstanding performance for the specific workload, but it has the overhead in extra programming overhead. Okay. ASIC is the dedicated usage with the highest efficiency, but it maybe not affordable under the smaller quantity. Now, every PG has the balance of the cost efficiency and the rapid adoption, but it may need it may need more support from the ISV or skilled technical team. Okay, how do different chips fit with your AI workloads or applications? The second question is what criteria do we have to evaluate to adopt them? Okay.
Yeah, so for Uber, you know, our team develops the full hardware portfolio and fleet management. So as we look at the solutions, we need to make sure it's easy to manage in our fleet, right? Usually black boxes and appliances are very hard for us to deal with. And so, you know, for example, for the different use cases of AI and machine learning, we have training use case as well as inference. So for the training use case, we use about 4 to 8 GPUs to help with the training. When you're training, there's a lot of workload that gets distributed across many GPUs. So GPU to GPU communication is very important. And so we actually are going to rely on NVLink for that. And so for inference, which we have technology in the car as well as in our data center, you know, that we use about 1 to 2 GPUs currently. And we also, you know, for that one, the CPU to GPU bandwidth is very important. So you need a very high-speed PCI Express link there. And for we also use FPGAs today for special acceleration. So sometimes you can't beat a very specialized FPGA that has a function exact function that you need. In the future, we will look at ASICs, either developing ourselves or actually going outside. You know, we might talk to companies like GraphCore and other folks to see what might be most applicable. But I think at that point, our AI algorithms have to be a lot more mature because, as you know, ASICs are fixed function, and if you don't have that function, you know, you don't have that flexibility. But on the other hand, GPUs actually have a lot of functionality in there that you don't need for AI. You just basically need the math cores. So you're actually wasting a lot of power. So that's the trade-off that you have to make: maturity and flexibility and high power versus something fixed function ASIC. So we'll be evaluating these and many other solutions. With we have our own AI benchmarks that we run.
Yes, that's great. How about your opinion?
Yeah. So we made I'd love to provide a little bit of context before going to this answer. We made an interesting architectural choice a couple of years ago, where we decided that every server would run every service, and so every single server across 154 locations runs the exact same, can run every single service that we provide. Currently, we're a CPU-only shop. We don't use FPGAs, we don't use GPUs, we don't use custom ASICs. At some level, and at least as I understand it, what an ASIC is really great at is the following. If you know exactly what highly repeatable workload, unique and repeatable workload you want to repeat, you can do that again and again and again, and you can design the ideal card for it. One of our challenges is that we have just a heterogeneous mix of customers, 10 million of them, and each of them have their unique patterns. They turn on additional features, which adds as a different vector. And increasingly, those customers are running code they have written, not us, on our network. And so that's another vector of complexity. That said, we care a lot about efficiency. And if there's an opportunity to find a way to use hardware acceleration, that's something we're hugely interested in. My ideal model is that for every server we own, we plug in a hardware accelerator that offloads enough of what we already do to pay for the card on day one. And if it happens to unlock new use cases like AR and VR and ML and other 2-letter acronyms, we will be only too happy. But we're frugal enough that we'd love for the card to pay for itself before new things happen.
Okay, thanks, Nitin. Okay, because of the rapid advancement among the talent and the resources are dedicated for accelerating the growth of the AI technologies, Okay, this is why there is a lot of open source AI technologies users can quickly use to take their machine learning as project to the next level. Okay, for example, Uber contributed hardware the project as the open source to build up the faster distributed the training framework for TensorFlow, Keras, and PyTorch. Okay, how does Uber embrace the open source software stack or technologies to use in your AI development?
Yeah, so for our Uber software stack for AI, we do definitely embrace the open source methodology. So, you know, what we have on the very top layer, we leverage common DL libraries and frameworks that are out there. So we definitely use the TensorFlow. Horavad is what Stephen just mentioned, is a distributed TensorFlow that Uber created so that you can run your work on many, many GPUs and manage it properly. So we use something called gang scheduling in that tool. And so that's something that we have shared with the community. And we use the normal libraries that are out there, like NumPy and SkyPy and you know all the libraries for OpenCV. And so you know we have that at the top layer. Underneath that we developed something called Michelangelo. This is a platform, and they call it machine learning as a service. So what you can do is actually you know have it get the data that you need to train for you. Then it will actually run your model and evaluate your model. And after that, you can deploy your model. And after that, it will help you, you know, make sure that you monitor the predictions coming out of your model over time. Okay. So below that, we have what we call Peloton, which is basically, you can think of it as task lifecycle management and a scheduler for all these jobs. And below that, we have Mesos, which is you know, something that we use for resource management and machine allocation. And of course, below that is the OS and the GPUs and the servers. So that's our full software stack, and a lot of it is open source. So we're definitely a supporter of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of the software has been considered or adopted in your AI in AI development?
Yeah. So Cloudflare is a big supporter of open source technologies. I think the substantive majority of open source contributions have been in the areas of encryption and web performance. As far as we move into function as a service compute, we're especially interested in and don't really know the answers for which AI tasks, if you will, are better served being run on the edge than the core. We absolutely do not contest the fact that for a significant number of AI machine learning tasks, it probably makes sense to find a very large core data center and go run those tasks there. What is a better natural fit with Cloudflare's network and strategy is to pursue the ideas where it makes sense to run those at the edge. And we think that there's an opportunity for folks to, and we call that product workers. We think there's an opportunity for folks to really create recipes and share those recipes with others. And so workers can be written in JavaScript, Rust, C, C++, any language that can be converted to WebAssembly. And our hope is that as recipes get shared, essentially a marketplace develops around it. Some people will embrace the principles of open source to an extent that they'd want to do it for free. Other people would actually want to make a living out of it and either become effectively solutions engineers for hire, either on workers or on workers with an AI focus. And whether they choose to do it for free or whether they choose to charge for it, we support their livelihood. We think it helps the community as a whole.
Okay, thank you. Okay, artificial intelligence has transformed dramatically in a very short time. Over time, the increasing penetration of the AI has resulted in the shortage of the skill for the professional or domain experts with the AI expertise. What kind of experts are you targeted with the top priority to recruit?
Yeah, I think you know, for our autonomous driving, we actually recruit a lot of different type of AI engineers to help with the computer vision, as well as, you know, the controlling of the cars themselves and the deep learning techniques associated with that. So, you know, we found that because we're on the leading edge of the self-driving technology aspect, you know, we're able to attract some very good AI engineers and professors to join us. So luckily we haven't had that much issue in recruiting people. And I think one aspect of this is also, like I said, we have the IPO coming about, and so that also helps with our recruiting. And so we're lucky. And for the interesting thing I'm seeing is that even though we're recruiting engineers not in the AI area, they're attracted to a company that does AI. So they want to be close to that technology. So in a way, it's helping our other recruiting, not just the AI engineers. So I think it's been going pretty well.
Okay, thank you. Nitin, how about the status quo of the recruiting external, the AI-related expert or internal training for the employee for your organization, challenges or difficult and extra?
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with what Gloria said, so I'll try to maybe attack it in a different angle. I think we have a tendency to, as an engineer myself, I think we have a tendency to sometimes pigeonhole engineers and say, you look like a person who really likes TensorFlow. That must be the beginning and end of what you want to do. I actually think really smart engineers are curious. They want to go to mission-driven organizations where they can have the biggest impact they can. And if they can impact not one organization, but a broad swath of organizations, then they're excited about that. Like my boss used to say, you know, how do you make Wall Street safer? You hire smart people and get them to make the internet safer, and you charge the banks a little more than you charge grandma. Some people will be excited about AI, and we've got to make sure that we have the tools, the company in place for them to sort of learn and prosper. But some folks will just care more about the mission and want to pursue the biggest impact they can, and we want to offer that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, last question. Okay, in the AI race, okay, how do you think of the winners maybe, and what the characteristics should have? Laura?
Well, I think the AI race is actually rapidly evolving, and it's hard to predict what will happen. You know, countries like China, Russia, and the US are all investing heavily in AI. So, you know, you can see the companies that likely will win are the ones that either are on the cutting edge of the research for it, or using it, or supplying equipment to it. So I would say, you know, my guess of the winners would be like companies like Baidu and Google and you know, DeepMind, who do a lot of research in this area. Also, hopefully, Uber and Quanta and and you know, NVIDIA. I think those are likely folks that may win. And I think for Uber, I think we have the unique combination of the use case and the platform to deploy it. So we have the self-driving cars and flying cars, but we have the platform to actually use the technology. So that's a very powerful combination. Hopefully, it will help us win.
Okay, so. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So my colleague Stephen Pernick is sitting somewhere there, and I asked him this question because I love to piggyback on what smart people advise us. And he said, well, Steve, who do you think the winners will be in the AI race, right? And Steve looked at me with a straight face and he said, humans, I sure hope. And if you think about it for a moment, like Steve has a really good point. If we want us as a community to benefit from AI, then we benefit. Then at some level, like there is greater risk in a small number of organizations really leading the charge and being the places to work on AI, or a small number of organizations, governments included, working on it. We want the broadest set of people, broadest set of organizations, governmental, nonprofit, for-profit, across different nationalities, sort of having access to that toolkit, pursuing those ideas. If you want the human race to benefit, you want to make it incredibly easy for the maximum number of people with different ideologies to be able to have access to AI. We want to make sure we do that in a thoughtful, responsible, consultative process, actually like working with governments. I think there's an opportunity for responsible tech companies to do well here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Gloria and Anitra, okay, thanks for your great sharing with us today. Okay, thanks for your time and the participation. Okay, and now the lucky draw and the next party we are coming soon. So stay tuned and let's see you later. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.